Pickle, there was big news down on Manor Road last week, the headquarters of the University Interscholastic League, as they announced the next athletic director of the UIL as Cipher ISD Athletic Director Ray Zepeda. We are pleased to be joined on the phone line now by UIL Director of Athletics Ray Zepeda. Mr. Zepeda, how are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. What has the last week been like for you?
It has been it's been pretty crazy since Thursday at 3:00, and so my phone at one point started to melt with all of the text message and phone calls. But it's been a good thing. I think anytime that you have news like this kind of break, to be able to hear from so many different groups of people, former players, coaches, people that I've worked with, people that I know throughout the state, it's been a really fun weekend.
This is a big job as Director of Athletics of the UIL, the largest organization of its kind in America. There are some people who this job may not appeal to them. For you, what made you interested in this job as UIL Athletic Director?
I think really first and foremost, the ability in this role to really serve a large number of people that I really care about. This starts with the many student athletes across the state of Texas, followed by the coaches and athletic administrators that serve those athletes. I coached in a variety of roles in this great state for really over 20 years, and I know how important and consequential the UIL is to what we do as practitioners on a daily basis. And I think further in my last decade of being strictly an athletic administrator, I would even say that the UIL has been even more consequential and foundational to what I do on a daily basis. So with all that in mind, I really jumped at a chance to serve the people that make interscholastic athletics go in our state.
You have been at Cipher ISD since 2016. You've seen it grow. It seems like it just keeps on growing. Now 13 high schools out there at Cipher ISD, and I know that has been home for you for a while. I know that you're really excited about getting the job there at the UIL. But are there mixed emotions with leaving a job there at Cipher ISD?
Absolutely. Actually, I had been here 3 years prior to that as the assistant AD. So, really, this has been my professional and personal home for the past decade. This is a wonderful community that absolutely supports the role of athletics and really extracurricular activities in the educational process. And I'm really heavily invested in our process of continual improvement here in our athletic department. And I love the people that I get to work with. So I have such a great respect for our coaches and our other athletic administrators, and they've really become family to me. So the thought of leaving them is really, really rough. But I would say that is countered a little bit by the people that I will be working with at the UIL. Mm-hmm. I got to spend a good deal of time with them this weekend at state soccer, and I'm just really excited to join their team.
We're talking with Ray Zepeda, the new Director of Athletics of the UIL here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. So then I've got to ask you, Coach, whenever you got the call that this was going to be your job, what was your initial reaction whenever you got the call that, hey, Manor Road is waiting for you?
Well, I think this was one of excitement mixed with being a little nervous as well. I mean, I really foresee this as a challenge for me professionally and personally. And I think that we all have to stretch ourselves at times to continue to grow and develop. And this is really a growth opportunity for me. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited for that challenge. Obviously, I think when you make a move like this, it comes with a little bit of trepidation. But I would say probably more excited than anything else.
I do want to ask you about kind of the near-term future of the UIL. There's always challenges on the horizon, and some of them you see coming and some of them you don't. I'm interested from your perspective where you sit right now. What do you foresee as being maybe the most pressing challenges that you're going to have to face there as athletic director?
Well, I think with the UIL, I think one of the main things that we do, especially in athletics, is trying to maintain competitive equity. And that is becoming a little bit harder and harder as Texas is growing so quickly, specifically in the larger urban areas of the state. And I know that you're very well aware of the many ideas that are out there about how to best address that. And I perceive really from my vantage point here in Cipher that there really are no easy answers to that challenge. So managing that growth and ensuring that we're maintaining a competitive equity, I think that's going to be a challenge, really probably for the next decade. And then also with many of the headlines that have really come up this past school year, upholding and defending really the rules the UIL rules that are put in place to level that playing field for all concerned, and making sure that we're promoting an atmosphere of compliance. I think that's a challenge, especially today where you look at the climate and public education that is sometimes leaning to a prioritization of the individual at the expense of a larger group. I think that that can be difficult. I know our culture is sometimes demanding instant answers and accountability, and sometimes devalues reason, deliberation, and consistency. And so I know that all of that can create issues. And I know it has created issues for me here in Cipher, and I would expect that would even be more of a challenge as the AD. With that being said, I think that the answer to those challenges is to stay as plugged in as you can to the different constituents across the state, the coaches, the athletic administrators, our communities, and try to just make sure that the UIL is being deliberate and consistent about what they're doing based on the feedback that we're receiving from those folks.
One last question for Ray Zepeda, the athletic director of the UIL here. Coach, I think people know you from your role there at Cipher ISD. Maybe they know you as former Galena Park head coach or Mathis head coach. But I would like to direct your attention to the 1987 edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and specifically page 231, if you'll open your hymnals, where under the Flower Bluff Hornets, coached by Coach Ron Newman, it lists a 5'9", 150-pound split end named Ray Zepeda. What kind of scouting report can you give us on this young man?
Well, first and foremost, I would say that I'm a little bit insulted because, I was probably 5'10" and 165 at that point. But what I would say is that Ray Zepeda's passion greatly exceeded his talent. I think that my coaches really created a great personal confidence in me as a player. Coach Newman was a great mentor to me, role model. And it really wasn't until many years later when I was actually coaching that I realized that I probably was not as good as I thought I was. And that belief that my coaches put in me is really a special thing. And I think it's something that athletics does for kids. And I think that everything that we do as coaches should be to build up kids and allow them to grow through their participation in our activities. And I know that I certainly did that as a Flower Bluff Hornet way back in the day. And my hope would be that in this new role that I'm able to influence the coaches in our state so that they can continue to serve this real critical role for kids, because I know that at that time in 1987, I thought I was one of the best football players in Texas. And I know now that was not true.
He's Ray Zepeda. He's the new director of athletics for the UIL. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new job, and we look forward to talking with you further down the road.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate what you do to publicize these great activities in our state.
Absolutely. There he goes, Ray Zepeda, the athletic director of the UIL. Join us here on Texas Football Today.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.